Hello, so we reached the end of Acts 22. We're not going to read verse 30 because I think that goes better with the next chapter, so we'll take verse 30 next week. But let's finish up Acts 22 for this week. Paul has been addressing the mob in Jerusalem. They think that he's taken a Gentile into the temple. They go crazy. The Romans have to swoop in to save him. He's on the steps to the barracks when he asks the commander who can speak, if he can speak to the crowd. And the commander lets him do it, interestingly enough. And there's a little bit of a back and forth with the commander. You speak Greek? Really? Aren't you an Egyptian Jew who led a revolt? You know, confusion. We're going to get a little bit of that at the end of today's reading. But basically, when Paul gets to the part of his speech where he says, God said he was going to send me far away to the Gentiles, the mob goes crazy again. And that's where we join in verse 22, where we see the reaction of the mob to Paul's comment that he's going away to the Gentiles. Verse 22, and they were hearing him until this word, until he got to that part. So this is akuon, which is the imperfect of akuo. It's augmented on the front, and it's third person plural, so it's imperfect active indicative, because it's the present stem with an augment. That's the imperfect tense. Akuo can take its object in the genitive, and that's exactly what's happened here. They were hearing him until this word, demonstrative pronoun, and they raised the voice of them, saying, this is epairo, I believe, pretty sure, yes. Well, yes, it's epairo. It looks like the aorist. It's the aorist because it's lost in iota. When you have letters lost, then you're talking aorist rather than imperfect. Imperfect is the present stem with an augment. So this is the aorist of epairo. They took up the voice. This is our voice, saying, quote, take from the earth this guy, knock him out, take him out. This is present imperative. It looks of iro. Letters the present stem there. So this is a present active imperative, second person singular. Take him away, for he was not fitting. It was not fitting for him to live. This is interesting. I didn't take the time to look it up. This is imperfect. I don't know why it isn't present. For it's not fitting for him to live is what I would have expected. Maybe this is dramatic, but it's kateko. But because the past tense ending, epsilon is a very common third person singular past tense ending. And the fact that this has gone from an eta with a accent, acute accent, to an eta with a circumflex suggests that this is the imperfect tense of kateko. For it was not fitting for him to live. I don't know why it's using the imperfect to do that. I'm kind of running through the imperfect categories in my head. It seems to me that it must be probably emphatic. This guy should not live. This guy should bite the dust. We get their sense clear enough. The past tense may emphasize it. Not only is it not fitting for him to live, but it's not been fitting for a long time. I don't know if I'm reading into that. Okay, verse 23. And them shouting and throwing down the garments. Okay, this is not just renting your clothes. This is taking off and throwing down your garments. And in fact, I suppose that and throwing dust into the air, so they're creating a dust cloud. You kind of get the picture here. This is genitive absolutes, right? Pronoun in the genitive, participle. This is a present active participle. My aunt is an active participle, and kraugadzo is present. Ripeo is present. Balo with two lambdas is present. So we have three genitives that go with this one, three genitive participles, three present active participles, genitive masculine plural, that go with this pronoun here. And them shouting and throwing down the garments and casting dust into the air. Verse 24, the chiliarch, the commander, commanded. Imagine that, a commander commanded. Although this is a chiliarch, a leader of 1,000. Sigma epsilon nu, haven't seen it for, as often as we were for a while there, but what is sigma epsilon nu? Aorist, active, indicative, third singular, from keluo. The Chiliarch commanded to lead him into the barracks. This is to enter him. This is a causative active. Cause him to enter. You can do that. There are two kinds of actives: simple active, causative active. So this is ace ago. Him to be led into. Maybe it's passive. Him to be led. Yeah, okay. So I take that back. There are two kinds of active, but let's go with this as a present passive infinitive. The Chiliarch commanded him to be entered. Into the barracks. Having said, so this is aping an aorist. The os ending is a participle, aorist participle, nominative masculine singular. Having said, normally it would be own, apone, but every once in a while, second aorists say, I know that I'm not a real aorist, I'm not like a normal aorist, but can I kind of use an aorist participle ending just to be like my friends, peer pressure? So this could have been apone, omega nu, but it took the os of the normal sos participle for the aorist. So this is an aorist active participle, nominative masculine singular. Having said, with whips, him to be interrogated. So this is anatadzo, maybe anetadzo, and so this would be anetaxo. Anatadzo, him to be interrogated. So this is a present passive infinitive. And the subject of an infinitive, quote unquote, is in the accusative case. In order that he might know, this is epigenosko, it's missing some letters, so it's aorist, third person singular, aorist active indicative, or actually subjunctive, because hina takes a subjunctive. Subjunctive is coming. In order that he might know on account of what cause, thus, they were shouting at him. Why? Why are they so upset with you? I'm going to find out. Let's give them a beating, because that always works. So this is the imperfect of epiphoneo, imperfect active indicative, third plural. Let's keep going. We only have a certain amount of time here, right? Verse 25. And as they were binding the straps, okay. Oh, I likes me a good beating, I do. They're binding the straps. This would be the imperfect of proteno, although that alpha there has me thinking it might be actually aorist. And the winner is proteno, but it is aorist. It is from proteno, but it's aorist because the alpha here. So it's aorist, active indicative, third plural. As they bound him with straps, dative of means, he said, aping an aorist, to the Hekaton Tarko, Hekaton Tarkon, the centurion, the leader of 100. Paul said to the having stood there centurion, this is the perfect participle of histemi, to stand. So anyway, I just kind of have that memorized. The sigma, sometimes it seems like it reduplicates with the rough breathing mark. It seems that way. Not always. Sigma reduplications are irregular, it seems to me. So Paul said to the centurion standing there, if it is lawful for you to beat a Roman man who is unaccused, uncharged, because they can do that to unimportant people, but they weren't supposed to do that to Roman citizens. And so Paul, he's like, okay, I might get some merit badges for heaven for getting beaten, but you know what? I don't have to get beaten. I think I'll just kind of tell them that I'm a Roman. And so basically, big no-no here, not supposed to beat someone who's a Roman citizen without them having been charged. Okay, so 26. And the centurion, having gone to the Chiliarch, he announced to him, saying, "What are you about to do, man? You're about to do a big no-no." Remember the Philippians, Paul says, why don't you have them come and escort me out of the jail? Because they beat him as a Roman citizen who hadn't been charged. Well, this is an aorist participle. It's sos. Aorist active participle. This is an aorist active participle because the elf, procercami. This is aorist because it's lost one of its lambdas. It has internal lengthening. And epsilon is a very common third-person singular ending, past tense. And new is new with an epsilon in front of it is often a movable new. Throw it away. So this is apangelo, aorist. He announced saying, "What are you about to do?" Present active infinitive. For the man, this man, Roman is. Okay, beep, 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 centurion reversing. Okay, verse 27. And the chiliarch, having come to him, said to him, so this is again elf, it's aorist, pros erchomai, aorist participle, aping and aorist, indicative. Quote, tell me, are you Roman? Are you Roman? A little emphasis with the extra su, you. Okay, this is present imperative, present active imperative, second person singular. Tell to me, you Roman are? Question mark. And he said, yes, ne. Nigh in ancient Greek, but still the same in Greek today. Ne means yes. Okay, this is the fa is the aorist of aphiemi, to speak. And he said, yes, verse 28. And the chiliarch answered, aorist passive in form, but it's deponent because it's apokrinomai, indicative, third singular. And the chiliarch answered, quote, I, with much money, bought this citizenship. So we're going to have a little competition here in that agonistic world. Paul's about to lay down his trump card. This is a genitive of price, I would say, for much money. The word here, kephaleia, is interesting because it means head normally. Kephalion can also mean chapter head, the head of a chapter. But anyway, here it seems to mean sum of money, for a great sum of money, for great head money. I'm not quite sure the history of that particular expression, but we get what's being said here. I, unnecessary, therefore emphatic, I purchased sigma alpha, so it's aorist, first person singular, aorist active indicative, from katao mai. Actually, it's deponent, isn't it? Katao mai, if I remember correctly. Yes, katao mai, so it's deponent. I purchased this citizenship for much money. And Paul said, bam, I even have been born a Roman citizen, and I still am. Okay, again, I for emphasis, even, I downshifted into one of the other meanings of kai. If and doesn't work for kai, you shift off into also or even. I also have been born. Perfect, first letter gets a little beside itself, puts an epsilon in the middle, ending shoved right on the stem, so it's perfect passive indicative, first singular from genao, to be born. Verse 29. Therefore, immediately, the ones about to beat him, participle here, my aunt is an active participle, present active participle, noun masculine plural. The ones about to beat him, they backed off from him. This is apistemi. You can see the stay in the middle from histemi. Sigma alpha, it's aorist, aorist active indicative, third plural. They backed off, and the chiliarch, and the chiliarch even, or also, was afraid, was afeared. Aorist passive, it's phobeomai, so it's deponent, but it's aorist passive indicative, third singular from phobeomai. He was afraid, having realized, epigenosko, not all the letters are there, so it's aorist. We've seen this in this passage actually a little bit earlier, so it's an aorist active participle. Having realized that he is Roman, or we would kind of common sense English, that he was Roman, and that he had bound him. So this is a periphrastic, imperfect of amy with a perfect participle, past had, that he had bound deo him. Oh, the centurion's or commander could get in big trouble here, but Paul, no hard feelings. So you're about to beat me. Just don't kill me. So this is where it begins. Paul's going to be in prison for the next 4 years until the end of Acts. And this is where it starts. And so we finish up Acts 22. We'll do verse 30 as part of next week, Lord willing. And tomorrow, I think for my Patreon video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how Paul's sense of call to the Gentiles may have developed or not. We'll see. Maybe it was completely intact from day one. We'll talk about that in the Patreon video tomorrow, Lord willing.